Even in 2020, he could still throw up jabs. This was so brutal to watch live. He would have been better off just skipping the debate. The Lakers draft Bronny James. And the memes of this month were things like the Hawk Tua girl, AI vines, Freak Bob, and Let's Go Gambling. July 2024. The Supreme Court rules presidents have broad immunity from prosecution, meaning that presidents can commit certain crimes and not be prosecuted for it. This is a total shame because United States presidents have totally never committed crimes in the past, and everyone knows they have the cleanest slate in the world. LeBron James signs a 2-year, $104 million contract to play for the Lakers. Keir Starmer becomes the UK Prime Minister. John Cena announces his retirement from the WWE in 2025. The amount of that broke all types of bones trying to do John Cena wrestling moves in their rooms will never be forgotten. John, your legacy will never be forgotten. The Twitch streamer Sketch had a slight pass mistake leaked by somebody. Some people were mad at him for some reason at the time, and it became this huge story on social media of people talking about it. He came on stream eventually to talk about it and responded in a pretty good way. But the fact that people bullied him to damn near making himself end his life, well, what are you doing, bro? I know you get no hoes or money. Eminem releases his album, The Death of Slim Shady. He allowed and wished a speedy recovery from it. People like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris saying it, and some people did not give a Trump also announced his vice president J.D. Vance in the next upcoming days. Joe Biden tests positive for COVID-19. COVID fell the off. How do you catch it 4 years later after its peak? Biden has survived so much at this point, I don't think anything can take him out. Let me just knock on this wood for 2025. He's getting up there in age, so yeah. I don't want to be blamed if something happens. JoJo Siwa breaks the record for the most disliked music video by a female artist in 2024 by a pretty good amount too. It's a skill to do this many numbers. Joe Biden drops out the presidential race after stuttering in every interview for the past 4 years, trying to learn how to walk up steps and lying to the public, telling people he's in perfect fine shape for an old man. He made the decision on July 21st, 2024, immediately endorsing his vice president Kamala Harris right after. If Joe knew she was gonna do things like get Megan Thee Stallion to twerk for votes and Cardi B to speak, he would have locked in and changed his plan. Chris Tyson steps away from Mr. Beast's team after allegations of grooming and overall being a weirdo. I'm just saying allegations because at the time it was, but now it's confirmed true. You already know. And Mr. Beast's image just hasn't fully recovered from this. Right after these allegations, it felt like it just kept getting worse and worse, and there was no stopping it. Just more and more allegations on Mr. Beast and everybody on his team. Mr. Beast's public likability stocks have never been the same. Only 100 million views, Mr. Beast. It's time to put the fries in the bag. Inside Out 2 becomes the highest grossing animated film in history, making $1.46 billion globally. The 2024 Summer Olympics begins. I usually don't care about the Olympics, but this year's had so many memes. The Turkish shooter guy was probably the biggest one, and the whole shooting competition just looked cold, to be honest. Robert Downey Jr. is officially announced to be returning to Marvel. He was announced to be playing Doctor Doom in the next 2 Avengers movies. I feel like this just kills the moment when he died in Endgame. I'm optimistic though, so hopefully it's good. Xbox 360 shuts down its marketplace. The United States national debt reaches a record $35 trillion. I still want to know who we owe money to. It seems like we sent money to every other country. And the memes of this month were things like Rat Summer, Donald Trump shot, and Starlight the Boys. August 2024. Aiden Ross.
Delicious.
Oh yeah. Cheers.
How is it? So good.
It hits every time.
Aiden Ross streams with Donald Trump, being the first ever president to hop on a stream. Kind of wild how far streaming has come this year, and it's only been growing. This is a good time to tell you guys I also stream on Twitch, so go follow, please. Kamala Harris announces her vice president pick Tim Walz. Susan Wojcicki, the former CEO of YouTube, sadly passed away. She was one of the main pioneers in growing this platform as a whole. Rest in peace, Susan Wojcicki. The 2024 Summer Olympics officially wraps up, with athletes breaking 32 world records and and reaching 5 billion people around the world. The social security number of every American gets stolen in a hack. My question is, how is it even possible to do that? And did y'all know this even happened? Like, you're probably going, is our stuff that badly protected where you can take all of it in one sitting? Hey, all I know is I haven't been hit yet, so don't get any ideas, guys. Ronaldo breaks the world record for the fastest growing YouTube channel, gaining 1 million subs in less than 90 minutes, 10 million subs by the end of the day, 30 million subs by 2 days, and 50 million subs in under a week. I don't know how many people don't have Ronaldo as the most famous person on the planet right now, but if you don't, then this should certify that you gotta change it. The editing style on his videos are still pretty, like, very commercialized, but this could be the man that passes the almighty Mr. Beast hold on YouTube. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., probably the biggest independent U.S. candidate in recent times, drops out the presidential race to endorse Donald Trump. Justin and Haley Bieber have their first kid. Shout out Justin for holding down my childhood with bangers. Feels like I'm truly getting old. The Brazilian Supreme Court shuts down Twitter in the country. Apparently this was due to disinformation being spread about the country. They lost the argument when they said false information on the app. Like, buddy, why do you think people have Twitter? To get fed lies and see people argue about things no one ever made an argument for in the first place. And the memes of this month were things like Turkish pistol shooter, Rainbow Dolphin, and Very Demir. September 2024. Sabrina Carpenter debuts #1 with her album Short and Sweet. Pretty big album for the year, but her tours be freaking as hell for some reason. Like, who's telling her to do all that first? Rich homie Juan sadly passed away from an accident on a drug overdose. Man had a Selena Gomez officially becomes a billionaire, mainly making money from her company Rare Beauty. It seems like it's a cheat code to become a billionaire now if you were a very famous celebrity or any company. Guess I'll have to eventually do that, right, guys? You guys would buy it, right? Nick Avocado goes from the fattest man on earth to the skinniest overnight. I would have predicted World War III would happen this year before predicting this. Everyone was shocked because you woke up one day and Nick wasn't fat anymore. It seemed like it was written in prophecy for him to be obese for life. If you're fat now, you got no excuse. Get your ass on that treadmill in 2025. Kendrick Lamar gets announced as the Super Bowl halftime show artist. Sadly, James Earl Jones passes away, known for playing famous characters like Darth Vader and Mufasa. Rest in peace. The Minecraft movie trailer drops. It was definitely a movie trailer. Yeah, not the best reception from people, but we'll see how good it is when it comes out. The debate between Trump versus Kamala Harris takes place. This year was so exhausting because why do we have 2 presidential debates? One is already too much for my brain, but one comment stood out from the whole debate.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Really, Nick?
Just save Bolt and Brian Griffin and we good. After that, they can chop away all they want. Tito Jackson, a member of the Jackson 5, sadly passes away. It comes out that Diddy was using baby oil for his freak-offs. Lotion or lube don't cut it anymore, so you gotta bring out the maximum efficiency products. And that's what he chose. Telegram now has to share IP addresses and phone numbers to authorities if law enforcement requested. This is a huge change if you don't know, because Telegram was built on keeping everything totally encrypted, which is why every drug dealer in the book was using it. So it might be over for them. They'll have to go back to the boring dark web. I wish I did it. I would have loved a thank you for shopping here message from a drug dealer after getting something. Sucks I can't anymore. That's a joke, YouTube. I've never bought a single illicit substance in my life. Kmart closes its last major store in the US. If you're still shopping at Kmart, then I think you came out the wrong century, bro. The 80s is way back there. Hurricane Helene hits Florida. And memes of this month were things like Nick Avocado's weight loss, the Minecraft movie trailer, Henry Danger side-eye, Diddy arrested, and my new character. October 2024. United States port workers go on a strike over compensations and disagreements about the use of automation. It's kind of scaring me that we're entering an era where people have to go on strikes to fight against robots already.
Kohl's Cash is the gift that keeps on giving. Get $10 Kohl's Cash for every $50.
To fight against robots already. Like I thought this was gonna happen in the future, 2099 or some. but our generation got to deal with this too. The Joker 2 releases, proving to people that Lady Gaga should stick to singing. The difference between the first movie and second for reviews doesn't even seem real. Lizzo reveals her weight loss to the public. She's been sharing TikToks of her working out, and it's definitely been working. It's like we losing all the fat celebrities to Ozempic or them actually caring about their bodies. Eminem becomes a grandfather. Hurricane Milton hits Florida, and the hurricane was pretty powerful, leaving places messed up. But the way they described this online and on the news, you would think Moses would have been able to part the sea. Like, did we really need to be doing all this in preparation for this storm? Young Philly gets arrested over rape allegations. He's a part of some pretty big groups like Beta Squad and affiliated with the Sidemen. Nothing's confirmed. Nothing's confirmed as of yet, but all we know is he paid bail and is waiting trial. Twitter officially returns back to Brazil. They wasted no time. They must have been protesting like crazy in the streets. The Weeknd hits a record 120 million Spotify monthly listeners, breaking his own record. Tesla holds an event and reveals a bunch of its new technology hitting the streets. A robot taxi that automatically drives itself with no user input. A robot bus that can hold up to 20 people. And an actual robot that can communicate back and forth with humans. I don't think society is ready for actual robots. The release of them is in the time frame of us being predicted to being able to have robots, and it seems like it's gonna fulfill that dream. If you're a freak, then you should be jumping with joy. At first, people thought the robots were fully communicating off the videos with no control, but it came out that people are actually controlling the robots still. Might be a while until this still. One day. One day. Abu Dhabi gets crowned the richest city in the world with an estimated capital of $1.7 trillion. When every cop drives a Lamborghini, that shouldn't be a surprise. The Federal Trade Commission announces its final click to cancel rule, making it easier for consumers to cancel subscriptions and memberships and not having to learn Minecraft enchantment table terminology to do it. Gyms are definitely after this. Sadly, Liam Payne passed away from falling off a balcony. Videos with no control, but it came out that people are actually controlling the robots still. Might be a while until this still. One day. One day. Abu Dhabi gets crowned the richest city in the world with an estimated capital of $1.7 trillion. When every cop drives a Lamborghini, that shouldn't be a surprise. The Federal Trade Commission announces its final click to cancel rule, making it easier for consumers to cancel subscriptions and memberships and not having to learn Minecraft enchantment table terminology to do it. Gyms are definitely after this. Sadly, Liam Payne passed away from falling off a balcony. Rest in peace. Trump put the fries in the bag. This video would have went platinum in the streets if he lost. LeBron and Bronny James become the first father-son duo to play in an NBA game. I know people got their complaints about Bronny, but no one can take away this frame in history right here. LeBron's seed fulfilled the prophecy he always wanted. Russia fines YouTube 2.5 decillion for banning it in the country. And if you want to know how that number looks, it looks like this. YouTube wouldn't even be able to pay the fine because it's more money than the total amount of money on Earth. So Russians, you guys got to be stuck with Vimeo for now. Sorry for your loss. Young Thug gets officially freed from jail. I thought we were getting 3 years at GTA 6 before this would happen. But magically this month, the unthinkable was achieved. He has to complete 15 years of probation and do community service and give presentations to kids against gang violence. No one knows when he's going to hit the studio again, but when he does, I think he'll be rapping like this. Memes of this month were things like KSI thick of it, Elon Musk jumping, Trump fries in the bag, I like my cheese drippy bruh, winter arc, and still water. November 2024. Apple surpasses $2 trillion in iPhone sales, showing no matter how many times they release the same phone every year, people will be dumb enough to buy it every time. China announces it's developing a hypersonic plane. It'll be able to go 3,069 miles per hour and can travel around the whole world in 7 hours. Any bird that comes across its path in the sky is getting disintegrated instantly.
Hey everybody, come on by to Zero Latency South Austin here in South Park Meadows. We currently have 3 different VR systems here. We're bringing the best stuff from
then the sky's getting disintegrated instantly. I'm good on a normal plane. That's fast enough for me. Margaret Robbie gives birth to her first child. Sadly, Quincy Jones passed away. One of the most legendary producers ever and known for producing Michael Jackson's biggest albums. Rest in peace. Donald Trump wins the election, finally ending the most intense election in United States history. People fought with friends, families, strangers, and anybody around them who they were voting for. It was also the most expensive election in history, spending a total of $15.9 billion. All that money and seeing the way both campaigns turned out, I would have thought it was $1 million max. Bitcoin also soared in price this month after the election. Crypto bros might officially be back, and crypto scams too. Beyonce becomes the most nominated artist in Grammy history, gaining a total of 99 nominations. Tyson Ab Twitch record for the most subs on Twitch. You better watch out, COD, because best believe I'm coming for you. I'm not too far off that. Did I ever mention that stream, guys? Joe Biden and Donald Trump meet at the White House to discuss their transition. The fight of the century happens. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I would have been better off to learn the outcome after than watching this abysmal fight live. I hope after this we never have to experience a Jake Paul boxing match ever again. But for historical reference, Jake Paul did win. Shocker. Malcolm X's family sues the FBI, CIA, and New York police in a $100 million federal lawsuit. They accuse them of letting his murder play out. The U.S. Pentagon fails its 7th audit in a row, saying they couldn't account for $824 billion. Crazy how as a citizen, if you miss a dime on paying your taxes, you get 10 years of prison. Meanwhile, our own government can't even do their own get a pat on the ass. They better start giving them penalties for this or people aren't going to keep taking this. NBA YoungBoy gets sentenced to 2 years in prison. Colombia bans child marriage in 2024. The worst part about this is they tried 8 times previously and failed. If your government officials are this sick, you gotta leave the country. Kendrick Lamar drops a surprise album, GNX, selling 319,000 copies first week and debuting at #1. Credit card debt in the US reaches $1.17 trillion. Cheating is officially no longer considered a crime in New York. A lot of happy relationships are going to be broken up very soon because of that. Drake files a lawsuit against UMG for allegations of helping Kendrick Lamar win the beef. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail of this because it's way too much, but technically Drake isn't suing Kendrick. He's suing his music distributor that they're both under. UMG said, if you're gonna sue us though, we're gonna sue Kendrick because we're not getting involved. We're gonna have to see where this goes, because if Drake loses this lawsuit, it's just embarrassing. Like, how do you lose a beef, sue to say he didn't win it fairly, then lose the lawsuit? Australia bans social media for anyone under 16. I don't think it's even possible to enforce something like this. If it's under 18, then you could easily just say you need an ID to sign up, but 16 and under is a weird age because you can't really ask for the ID. Australian kids going through it right now though. And memes of this month were things like Chill Guy, The Rizzler, I Understand It Now, and Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. December 2024. Joe Biden pardons his son Hunter Biden over his federal trial. I think anyone would do that if they were president, to be honest. Shoot, my homie could be a serial killer and I'm pardoning him. The CEO of a major health under is a weird age because you can't really ask for the ID. Australian kids going through it right now though. And memes of this month were things like Chill Guy, The Rizzler, I Understand It Now, and Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. December 2024. Joe Biden pardons his son Hunter Biden over his federal trial. I think anyone would do that if they were president, to be honest. Shoot, my homie could be a serial killer and I'm pardoning him. The CEO of a major healthcare company, United Healthcare, got pew-pewed on the street. He probably thought his legacy was gonna go down as a great, hard-working guy who built his way to the top. Meanwhile, his killer's getting kawaii edits and he's getting laughed at. CEOs is cooked for the future after this. I never expected how big this story was gonna get. Brainrot is named Oxford's Word of the Year. Mr. Beast announces he'll run for president when he's 50 or 60. Imagine he gets in the White House and he does YouTube. Of anything, I put 100 illegal immigrants in a circle and whoever wins gets a green card. How to watch that video, Mr. Beast. How to watch it. Bitcoin reaches an all-time high of $100,000. Federal appeals court upholds that TikTok has to be sold to a US company or will be banned on January 19th. The Notre Dame Cathedral officially reopens after its fire in 2019, welcoming world leaders around the world for the reopening. Jay-Z is accused of raping a 13-year-old girl in a civil lawsuit with Diddy. Nothing's confirmed as of yet, but having a lawsuit even filed against you like this is wild. Taylor Swift ends her 21-month Eras tour, making $2 billion total on the tour.
I have dealt with mental and emotional struggles for a very long time. I was also dealing with the fear of embracing
$1 billion total on the tour. I don't gotta tell you that's the highest earning tour ever. Should be a given. Chipotle raises its prices 2% due to inflation, and they also lower their chicken giving percentage by 10%. Nah, that's cap. But every year, I think they actually do that without telling customers. The man who packed the United Healthcare CEO is officially arrested. Crazy how they can work this fast for a killer as soon as they hit someone rich, but take years to solve a murder case. Epic Games is forced to refund $72 million to players due to unlawful billing practices. MGK and Megan Fox break up. Doing all that freak like drinking each other's blood only to split up is pretty embarrassing. Whoever else they get with after is always gonna know they drank their ex's blood and have it in their thoughts. Tokyo mandates a 4-day work week to its government employees due to declining birth rates, aka they want less working and more working. Elon Musk becomes the first person to reach a $400 billion net worth. Donald Trump is named Times Person of the Year. I'm up next. Trust the process. Stanley Cup recalls 2.6 million mugs after faulty cups. The fact that people were going crazy for them in the beginning of the year, only for them to potentially have to return it back, is hilarious. LeBron decides to step away from the Lakers for personal reasons. People are making rumors saying he's washed or it's over, but I don't tolerate any disrespect for the kid. Hot Ones gets sold for $82.5 million. 12 unreleased Michael Jackson tapes are discovered in a California storage unit. Starting off 2025 with new MJ music would be peak. The Federal Trade Commission bans hidden junk fees on any live ticket events and short-term lodging, requiring companies to actually disclose the full price up front. You get one government. One W. The new Superman trailer releases. They got this man Clark Kent looking like a TikTok e-boy. Come on. But overall, people like the trailer. Party City shuts down all of its stores after 40 years. Probably the last time anybody's ever been to a Party City. And memes of this month were things like the CEO assassination. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of 2024. It was a wild ride this year, but at least we all made it. By the way, if the last 2 weeks or so don't have tracking, I simply couldn't because I'm doing this early and I won't have time to add everything last minute. Sorry about that. I thank all y'all for watching and supporting me this year. We only going up. Make sure y'all check out all my channels, and I also stream too. Very important. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, I love you guys consensually. And until next time, I'm out.
Read 'em and weep, boys.
That's it. I'm dealing next round.
You know, there's something fishy about you, Alan.
I'm fishy. You tried to murder me in jail.
Well, if you can't play cards with somebody who tried to murder you, you'll never play cards in here.
You won't regret his idea of this game.
It'll be big, but you got no poker face.
Deuces again.
Okay, I'm out.
Read 'em and weep, boys.
That's it. I'm dealing next.
There were many changes. There were many changes.
Read 'em and weep, boys.
That's it. I'm dealing next round.
You know, there's something fishy about you, Alan.
I'm fishy.
There were many changes.
Yeah.
I knocked him. Of course you're trying to WQ me. Oh, they're WQing me, shot. How the fuck am I alive? Is my movement that insane? I got hit once. Let me drink some of my G Fuel, because you know, using code tax, you get 20 to 30% off. Helps you win games like this one. Don't you dare jump on me. I'm going for a chat. I'm being greedy. Oh my god, I did it. No! No, dick! I mean, hey, how you doing? I need to elevate myself, that way I can RPG this rocket before, or RPG this bunker before I go. Like that.
Bro, how'd you live?
Cancel up. Runner.
No! Whoa, whoa, hit it.
Oh my. Am I dead?
What are you doing?
Oh my.
No.
Shock him out. Shock him out. I shocked him into zone. GG!
No.
Got your G Fuel code tags, baby!
Gotta be careful here. This place is crawling with them. So I built this gaming PC and the graphics card and the case were completely free. But it has a super weird issue that I've never came across before. Every time I shut down the computer, it turns right back on all by itself. Let me show you.
Wait, I think my PC does that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but hey, at least it looks pretty cool. Does anyone want to buy it for Crisp High 5? So I built this gaming PC and the graphics card and the case were completely free.
Weed isn't even federally legal yet, but giant corporations are already ruining it for consumers, for workers, and for everyone, really. Trulieve, the largest cannabis company in America, controls over 50% of the legal cannabis market in some states. If you combine them with their two biggest competitors in Florida, for example, they sold enough weed in 2022 to give every Floridian 7 joints.
You are basically taking over the Southeast. Is there any type of goal there?
Yeah, that's it.
You could be using their products without even knowing it. They create brands that evoke small brands and pair up with our most trustworthy celebrities, like Wiz Khalifa and whoever these guys are. Trulieve built an empire by exploiting policy mistakes in legalization, using their power to create those mistakes, and taking advantage of well-meaning programs. For example, the giant publicly traded corporation somehow got the only minority-owned license for a dispensary in Alabama. And they're already working to do the same tricks they did in states federally.
Do you have a lot of lobbyists in Washington right now, Kim?
Yes, we do.
The Trulieve story shows us what we can learn about how a weed economy shouldn't be run, and how a good one could be run. This is The Classroom for More Perfect Union. And today we're talking about how to stop big industry from bogarting our weed economy. Let's go back to the last time America decided to make a substance illegal and then change its mind. The repeal of prohibition. Incredibly influential businessmen like John D. Rockefeller had once supported prohibition. But when they saw it simply wasn't working, they moved to end it. Rockefeller specifically took a surprising stance for one of the most bloodthirsty capitalists of all time. He wrote, quote, "Only as the profit motive is eliminated is there any hope of controlling the liquor traffic in the interests of a decent society." And that's coming from a dude who really understands profit motive. Back in the 30s, the United States government took antitrust, that's preventing monopolies, far more seriously than it does today. So in an attempt to keep the alcohol industry from becoming monopolized, they implemented a tier system. No one company could be the manufacturer, distributor, and retailer of alcohol products. Now, giant alcohol companies are a problem today, but the problem could have been way worse without that regulation. But let's look at weed. Zooming in on Florida's first legalization initiative and the dawn of Trulieve. In 2014, the Florida state legislature was building out a bill to legalize certain low THC strains of cannabis for medical uses. The bill wasn't written by a progressive cannabis advocate like you might think, but by Matt Gaetz, then a member of the Florida House of Representatives. Yeah, that guy. It was boosted by strong supporter Representative Halsey Beshears. Medical cannabis laws are complicated because they basically have to create an entire industry and how it runs from scratch. There need to be regulations on everything from labels to who can get licenses. During the debates on the bill, an amendment was added by Representative Matt Caldwell that said in order to get a license to grow the newly legal cannabis, a nursery must already have approval to grow 400,000 plants and have operated as a registered nursery in this state for at least 30 continuous years. 30 years. The amendment also added requirements for pre-existing real estate ownership and capital, requiring wannabe licensees to give the government $5 million in cash as assurance they could run the business. Who could possibly meet all of those qualifications? Well, there was Simpson Nurseries, the oldest nursery in Florida, opened in 1902. Simpson Nurseries was the family company of the Beshears. Yeah, that guy, the representative from earlier. To fully meet the qualifications, Simpson entered a partnership with Hackney Nurseries, also run by the Beshear family. The combined partnership got one of the just 5 licenses that Florida gave out after that bill. The combined company was Trulieve. But wait, there's no evidence of corruption here, right? Beshear's being involved isn't enough. Where would he have even gotten the idea for this? His family was supposedly, quote, opposed to growing cannabis. Well, like so many great scandals, there was a total idiot involved. In 2016, a Florida businessman, J.T. Brunette, was being investigated for a number of crimes, and undercover FBI agents recorded a conversation with him. He bragged to the FBI agents that he had, quote, worked through the bill with Beshears, a childhood friend of his, over the course of one afternoon, and convinced him to push little tweaks to the bill. Those little tweaks were the amendment that broke the whole cannabis law, the one we just told you about. At the time, Burnett had a girlfriend, Kim Rivers. Today, they're married. And Rivers is the CEO of TrueLeave.
Do you have a lot of lobbyists in Washington right now, Kim?
Yes, we do.
Brunette and Rivers don't come from backgrounds in cannabis, healthcare, criminal justice, or even retail, but rather finance, including Inkbridge LLC, a firm notorious for using government funding for private ventures. It's also invested in TrueLeave. Brunette and Rivers were also involved in real estate and construction, and used their own companies to build TrueLeave properties. Florida's first cannabis law and its largest cannabis business, TrueLeave, were built on corrupt, pro-business, anti-worker, anti-consumer, anti-competitive practices by people with only their own interest in mind. But this is by no means limited to Florida or limited to TrueLeave.
The lobbying for federal legalization currently is dominated by large cannabis companies and large alcohol and tobacco companies. And Amazon has endorsed federal legalization as well. What's really important to notice is that their job is easy because they want a corporate free-for-all. So all they have to ask for is legalization and nothing else.
This is Shalene Title, a drug policy advocate who's been instrumental in passing equitable cannabis laws. She was also a commissioner for the Massachusetts Cannabis Commission, the body formed to regulate cannabis when that state legalized.
So when I served as a regulator, I was lobbied. Lobbying is something that anybody can do, but it tends to be the larger corporations that have the ability to really closely follow this regulation making process and then to come to the regulators with exact language.
And the industry is taking notes from alcohol and tobacco lobbyists.
They have front groups like patients or consumers or workers claiming to represent their own interests, but in fact, they are representing the corporations.
But back to TrueLeave. They had a little problem. In other states, the licensing structure had also been perverted by people like them, meaning it was very hard for new businesses to move in. But they had something those other businesses didn't: capital and power. So they just started buying existing businesses and their licenses in other states. This strategy is deadly for small businesses because licenses are in such small supply. By 2021, they were operating in 5 states through a series of acquisitions and made their biggest purchase yet, Harvest Health, which gave them 6 more states. It also allows TrueLeave to continue vertical integration. That's where they own every part of the process from production to retail. The very same thing that regulators in the 1930s knew would monopolize the alcohol industry. TrueLeave's size also puts them in a position of power over their workers, who they've union busted multiple times, all while workers are dying in their facilities. 27-year-old TrueLeave worker Lorna McMurray died from what the CDC ruled to be occupational asthma due to poor ventilation in the plant. TrueLeave denied all responsibility and just went harder on union busting. Because cannabis is such a young business, we as a nation haven't decided how it'll be run yet. This isn't oil, this isn't pharmaceuticals, this isn't tobacco or alcohol or railroads, any of the other exploitative businesses that have plagued America for decades. This is something new.
New York has been a great example of a state that has learned lessons from every other state. First, they focused on social equity, which means that they gave the first licenses to nonprofits and to people who had been harmed by the war on drugs. But then the second thing that they did was they enforced anti-monopoly provisions. So in New York, you can't control the entire supply chain.
New York also has pro-labor provisions, like mandatory labor peace agreements for acquiring licensure.
Because New York has put the most effective rules in place, they've also got, in my observation, the most pushback. A whole campaign, really, to represent the New York agency as irresponsible, when in fact it has taken these really effective measures.
And even the most well-meaning regulations can be exploited by corporate cannabis. Like I said earlier, the only minority-owned license in Alabama went to TrueLeave. So that tells us what we should look for if the United States ever outright legalizes cannabis. But let's get back to reality. President Biden might reclassify cannabis soon.
I'm asking the Secretary of Health and Human Services and the Attorney General to initiate a process to review how marijuana is scheduled under federal law.
That means moving it down from Schedule 1, where it sits with cocaine and heroin, down to Schedule 3. But while rescheduling cannabis might get Biden a quick win in the polls, it really doesn't do anything. and could give big cannabis business even more power.
It's a step in the wrong direction, in my opinion. Schedule 3 would only protect products that have been approved by the FDA. So that's a process that could take about 10 years, millions of dollars.
And only the biggest companies can do that. The big guys also have resources and motive to use that preferred legal status to shut down the little guys who couldn't afford to get FDA approval. But here's the thing. We just spent all this time talking about giant weed conglomerates, and they might not even be the real problem here.
So I have likened this to dinosaurs squabbling when the asteroid is coming. Right now, we have cannabis businesses of all different sizes. They're competing to see who can do the best in the cannabis market. But there's this asteroid, which is the enormous companies. For example, Altria. Altria's market cap is bigger than the entire cannabis industry combined.
And it goes even bigger. Amazon has been supporting federal cannabis legislation. And I highly doubt it's because their shareholders just really want to stop people from getting needlessly arrested. And our friends at Trulieve have been focusing on federal legalization too.
Just legalization is essentially handing a monopoly to these companies. If you care about public health, about racial equity, about workers' rights, you have to ask for all of these things to be incorporated into legalization. Because in the end, if we end up just having 2 or 3 companies that are making all of the profits from marijuana and perhaps lying